These are the 5 biggest mistakes new killers make when they first start playing Dead by Daylight. Just before we get into things, please if you could drop a like and a sub. We're growing rapidly as we get towards 2.5k, so thank you and let's get into the video. My first tip for you is not abandoning chase. A lot of new players often tunnel vision a chase in order to get a kill, but the more time that you waste costs you as the killer, especially in the long run, as you lose time to destroy generators and keep map control and maybe even down another survivor that is in an easier position and maybe is not as skilled. The average skilled chase should last around 40 seconds to a minute. Any longer is like time that you'd probably be wasting, and it's exactly what the other players would want. That's why they're going to waste time as a survivor and try to get you to do as many loops as they can. Second tip, camping generators. Camping and damaging generators but not prioritizing going for a down on a survivor is kind of pointless in Dead by Daylight, as damaging a generator only takes down a certain percentage by a small margin. It is much smarter to find a chase and get a survivor on the hook, or at least damage one from a health state. The third tip on this list is chase movement. So learning mind games and which position to put yourself in can be the difference between a 30-second chase and a 3-minute chase. I recommend watching YouTubers like Spooky Loops, Aaron, and many other Dead by Daylight YouTubers who play both survivor and killer, because then you get to learn the perspective from both players, and you also get to see how killers use their abilities and which ways you can use them better. This helped me improve a lot more as I'm still improving. If you, for example, position yourself inside of a loop and focus on removing the pallet, this will put more stress on the survivor and give you a bigger advantage when you're trying to counter that loop. My fourth tip is learning specific perk builds based on your playstyle. If you can understand how perks work for different killers and make a build that kind of suits how you play a certain killer, this will put you a lot above average and it will give you better knowledge of the game's mechanics. So using perks that synergize with killers' abilities is also a really great idea, as the killer's ability is what makes them unique and what makes them a good killer. So if you can buff that even more, that gives you just a better advantage than someone who doesn't really know what they're doing. If you prefer to chase survivors over great map control, you should be playing a good killer for this, with a perk set to cut down the chase time, for example. And my fifth and final tip is switching off, also known as going into like autopilot mode and not thinking about what you're doing because you're tired or you just simply can't be bothered and you just want to relax. I constantly do this after strict games because my mind is just tired and I just can't be bothered to think and predict what the survivors are going to do, and then I get really frustrated and I just end up quitting. So if you can think and kind of predict what the survivors are going to do and not switch off, most of this game is about mind games. This is built on mind games and movement and just general knowledge of the game. So you need to be smart with how you play it or you're just going to get frustrated and lose multiple rounds. Thank you all for sticking to the end. Hopefully some of these tips can help you out. Like and subscribe so I see you again, and have a good one.